CNN Philippines tonight. A developing story out of North Cotabato. The military confirms 4 members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters were killed after holding hostages in the town of Pigcawayan. CNN Philippines has exclusive drone footage of military assaults against mounted positions. No end in sight for the month-long crisis. And in the PBA Cup Finals, the Beermen and Katropa slug it out to win Game 1. Good evening, I'm Mitzi Borromeo. CNN Philippines obtained exclusive drone footage taken from high up above and down below the commercial district of Marawi. You're seeing and hearing mortar explosions and gunfire and voices. That's a man in black believed to be a mounted terrorist, running as he tries to evade mortar fire. But beyond the scene of a battlefield, the swath of destruction left in the wake of a crisis that has gone on for 30 days in the once beautiful Islamic city. Mounted terrorists have dug in and they're fighting tooth and nail to keep what little they have of Marawi. It's been a month and the battle for Marawi intensifies further. The death toll, 66 government forces, 268 mounted rebels. The military says the mounted group has less than 100 fighters left and they're cornered. Our Camila Abadisho takes us to ground zero.
Thick black smoke billows to the sky as the terrorists resort to fuel bombs to counter the military offensive.
The enemy is now using IEDs sa mga houses and to the extent of using LPG tanks para pagpasok ng tropa, papuputukin nila yung bahay. So lately napansin nyo may mga sunog ngayon ng mga bahay. Because they're using gasolines and LPGs.
This is why it's taking longer to clear houses and buildings taken over by the terrorists. As government forces advance on the ground, rescue operations continue. The 1st Infantry Brigade rescues 9 civilians, including 3 children as young as 7 months. They have been trapped in the conflict zone for a month.
Galing po sila sa pinaka-sentro doon sa conflict area. Ito po yung malapit sa Grand Mosque, no? Naglakad po sila na mahigit 1 kilometro at sinusundan po nila yung announcement ng Armed Forces of the Philippines sa kanyang Philippine Army.
Norodin says he's lucky to chance upon the troops.
Parang suicide lang yun. Hindi ko alam kung ano pang matamaan ka o mabuhay. Pero sa awan ng Allah, binigyan po kami niya na mabuhay pa.
Natakot po kami sa mga ISIS.
Naririnig niyo po ba yung putukan?
Opo. At saka yung mga bomba.
The Mounties still have over 100 hostages that they use as human shields and workers.
Yung mga ibang hostages, ginagamit talaga nilang human shield. Ginagamit nila ito during their conduct of operation. Meron pang ang nagsabi na pinapabuhat sila ng mga bomba doon sa paglay sa ground. Okay, so ginagamit nila as manpower. Okay? Ito ngayon masaklap dahil hindi na nga nila, ginawa na nga nilang human shield, talagang ginawa pa nilang mga alalay doon sa area.
Ground Zero is fast becoming a field of explosives, shattered buildings and corpses. The military says most of the areas in the zone of gravity are unsafe for retrieval operations. Authorities are looking for a place to use as a mass grave for all the casualties.
Camila Abadisho, CNN Philippines.
We're also receiving reports that Marines recovered more illegal drugs in Marawi. That's after the military found 11 kilos of shabu earlier this week. Military officials confirm so-called high-value targets, including the Mounted Brothers and their leader Isnilon Hapilon, are still in the war-torn city. In CNN Philippines' interview with Task Force Marawi spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Joar Herrera, he assures the public that the military is doing everything to secure not just areas regained by the troops, but also nearby cities and towns.
Well, this can be manifested in the areas that we have recovered in the last 48 hours. We have cleared several buildings that were previously occupied by the terrorist groups. So ang ginagawa po natin ngayon ay lahat po na buildings, houses that were occupied previously are now under the control of the military forces. So yun po yung ginagawa natin. We are gaining more grounds in the conflict area. We are moving forward. We are taking down enemy positions so that our infantry forces will facilitate clearing operations in the conflict area. Well, based sa ating reports, yung high-value targets natin ay nandito pa rin sila sa area. So yun po yung focus natin ngayon is to neutralize the HVTs. At syempre, ang pinaka role ng ating ground forces doon is to destroy the center of gravity of the enemy.
Here are some top stories from around the world. Saudi Arabia's king replaces the sitting crown prince and nephew, Mohammed bin Nayef, with his own son. The Saudi monarch stripped bin Nayef of his royal title Wednesday and named Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as first in line to the throne. Bin Nayef was relieved of all positions, including Interior Minister. In addition to becoming Saudi Arabia's next ruler, bin Salman also picks up the role of Deputy Prime Minister and will continue his duties as Defense Minister. Britain's Prince Philip is in the hospital. Buckingham Palace says the 96-year-old husband of Queen Elizabeth was hospitalized Monday night to treat an infection arising from a pre-existing condition. The palace tells CNN it was, quote, a precautionary measure. It's unclear how long the prince will be hospitalized. His hospitalization comes more than a month after the prince announced he would step down from public engagements later this year. And Uber has lost the driver of its company. Travis Kalanick stepped down as chief executive officer. The 40-year-old helped found the ride-hailing service in 2009 and built it into a global tech giant. Uber faced a number of crises in recent months, including sexual harassment allegations and a reported criminal investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice. The loss of its CEO is another hard hit for Uber. The company has already lost its chief operating officer, chief marketing officer, and chief financial officer. Armed men identified as Bangsamoro Islamic freedom fighters attack a town in North Cotabato. Is this a spillover of the war in Marawi? Also ahead, a display of strength and recovery as the country hosts an international tourism forum. Details next here on CNN Philippines Newsroom. Good evening to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. As I just mentioned earlier, we do have a developing story, and we will be talking to Armed Forces spokesman Restituto Padilla about the developing story out of Cotabato, where Bangsamoro Islamic freedom fighters took some hostages, and there are reports that 4 of them have been killed. Stay tuned for that in the next segment of the newsroom. And also, we have a report from Anjo Alimari, who will be telling us about Aguirre's comments on the Marcos case. Also, we'll be talking about the Malampaya maintenance shutdown, and we'll be bringing you some business reports. Also, an update on the rate of the peso. Now, we'd like to say hi to those of you who are joining us on Facebook Live. Bong M. Herrera says hello and good evening to all of you. And good evening to you, Bong, watching from Kuwait. Also, Arnel Trinidad, Christian Ivan Requinta, and Violet Oliva, who is watching from Taiwan. I have to pick up my connection here, checking on other greetings. Also, we're getting a lot of, as usual, always a lot of comments and reactions to what's happening in Marawi. And stay tuned, we will have more updates for you on that. Also, we have, I'm sorry, my connection is not doing very well here. We do always love hearing from all of you. So let us know, please, where you're watching from, what you think of the stories. And also, please do watch Inside Marawi, which will be broadcast on June 27, 8 p.m. here on CNN Philippines. We also have Paolo Galupo, who says hello from Cagayan de Oro. And Carlitos Oraiz is watching from Qatar. Ian Hosel III joining from us from Cebu. And another one, Benjamin Madrid, joins us watching from Riyadh. Thank you to all of you for sharing your comments. Please continue to let us know what you think. And please stay with us until the end of the show. You're back in the newsroom on CNN Philippines. This developing story out of Cotabato. The military confirms 31 hostages, including 12 minors, were rescued as members of the Bangsamoro Islamic Freedom Fighters, or BIFF, fled in the cover of darkness. 4 of them were killed. Here's what happened earlier. BIFF attacked a barangay outpost in Pigcawayan, North Cotabato. The rebels retreated to Malagakit Elementary School, where fighting continued. Cotabato police say the incident is not a spillover of the war in Marawi, nor an effort by terrorists to establish a new front in North Cotabato. We now speak with the spokesperson of the Armed Forces, Brigadier General Restituto Padilla. Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking our call tonight.
Thank you, Mitzi, for having us. Good evening, everyone.
Sir, this is a developing story. So the latest is that 4 BIFF fighters were killed. Can you tell us how that happened? What transpired?
Well, there were these 4 killed based on eyewitness accounts of the hostages themselves, who saw that they carted away with the bodies as they made a hasty retreat. The cover of darkness, I guess, was something that they waited for, knowing that they wouldn't stand a chance if they stood in the current areas that they held within the city or the municipalities that they were in. And it was fortunate that all hostages have been accounted for. There were 31 of them, among which were 12 youngsters, and 20 more who were trapped in the area of the school who could not make it out throughout the fighting. The day-long sporadic fight between the group of the BIFF and our troops was something that was the commanders ensured that the BIFF would not go far. But because of the situation of the hostages inside the school building itself, the troops that were around the school could not fire at will in consideration of the safety of all these hostages.
Sir,
But,
are all the hostages
yeah.
okay? Also the military, are there any injuries or any wounded?
Well, all the hostages are okay. Not one of them have been hurt, and thank God. Among the soldiers, no one is hurt, except for those who were hurt earlier during the anticipated attack that they did in one of our outposts, and these were members of the camp group.
All right, sir. Do you know, so 4 of the BIFF members were killed. Do you have an idea of the numbers? How many of them are out there?
The estimate that we had earlier, about 30 of them took over the school as they made their retreat following that attack. But after we talked to all the hostages, based on the reports coming from General Samarita, the brigade commander, he mentioned that the hostages said no, there were more than 30. There were about close to 50 of them who were holding the school and guarding them. And they have now made their retreat towards Barangay Simsiman, where expected waiting for them are other members of the BIFF who have also been monitored in the area.
Sir, so the Cotabato police say this is not a spillover of the Marawi incident, but are you worried that there could be links to terrorism?
Yes, that's true. What the police, what the PNP has mentioned is actually the same findings that we have. This is not a spillover. This armed elements did not come from within Marawi, and nor are they heading towards Marawi. The BIFF has been known to conduct this harassment, especially following 2 weeks of continued setbacks based on the offensives conducted by government forces against their armed groups who have been monitored in the area. And this will continue on even after this, now that we know that they are there.
All right, sir. So what is the status now? Then how is Cotabato? What is the status there? What are you doing next this evening?
We're closely monitoring this retreating members of the BIFF, and a pursuit operation has been launched. The area of the school, by the way, Mitzi, has been cordoned because there are a lot of IEDs that have been left behind by the enemy, and to render it safe for use once again by students and the community, we will have to ensure that each and every IED that was left behind is dealt with.
Oh, a lot remains to be done. Well, thanks for all you do, and thank you for taking our call tonight. Armed Forces spokesman Brigadier General Restituto Padilla, thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and please keep safe, sir. So again, this is a developing story, and as Brigadier General Restituto Padilla just said, 4 BIFF members were killed tonight in operations where they went after them. Earlier this morning they had held 31 hostages, and all hostages have been accounted for. Among them, 12 minors, and we were also told that the Malagakid Elementary School, which was the area where the hostages were held, is still being cordoned off. So they are still securing the area and making sure that everyone is safe. And so far, there were no injuries. Senators criticized the downgrading of murder charges against police officers involved in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa. The Senate is considering reopening its investigation on the case, but Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says this comes with a limitation. Anjo Alimario reports.
Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos, along with his 18 co-accused, walked out of jail after posting bail on June 16th. The Baybay Regional Trial Court in Leyte had granted the Justice Department's motion to downgrade charges against them from murder to homicide. Justice Undersecretary Reynante Orceo penned the resolution which states there was no premeditation in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa and another inmate while they were detained at the sub-provincial jail. This runs contrary to the Senate report stating Espinosa's death was planned. Several senators did not welcome the ruling.
Kahit na grade 1 ka, dumating yung pulis doon, 25 ata sila, 30. Sinira yung lock, gabi. Meron silang experience na search warrant. Pagkatapos, pagpasok doon, pinalabas yung mga pulis na gwardiya, pinaluhod, pinatalikod. Tapos nagkamatayan na, ang tawag mo doon. Ba nila ang tao?
Senate President Coco Pimentel says they're looking into reopening the probe on Espinosa's death.
Ask the DOJ, the panel which handled the preliminary investigation, on what convinced them or what moved them to change their mind that the murder was not committed but instead homicide.
But Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre says the Senate has no power to overturn any resolution from the DOJ.
Board lamang ang maaaring makapag-tap sa amin, makapag-overturn ng resolution namin.
Aguirre also claims he had no hand in crafting the resolution that downgraded the charges.
Unang-una, hindi ako nag-issue ng resolution na yan. I've not even read the resolution. Ikalawa, I did not sign anything.
But he stands by justice officials.
I believe in my prosecutors, especially yung mga undersecretaries ko. We have to presume that they've performed their duties fairly and in accordance with law.
Aguirre says Espinosa's lawyer can still file a motion for reconsideration and convince the court to uphold the murder raps. President Duterte had vowed to pardon the cops if they are found guilty of wrongdoing in Espinosa's death. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
The 19 accused in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa and inmate Raul Yap pleaded not guilty in today's arraignment. Energy officials assure the public there will be no power shortage during the Malampaya maintenance works. The natural gas extraction facility off Palawan in the West Philippine Sea has a scheduled maintenance on July 15th to 16th, Saturday and Sunday, and on September 23rd to the 24th, also a weekend. The maintenance shutdown will temporarily cut natural gas supply to the Santa Rita, Ilihan, and San Lorenzo power plants in Batangas. But the Energy Department says this won't affect power supply as contingency plans are in place. The department adds the maintenance shutdowns won't affect the cost of electricity.
Wala po tayong dapat ikabahala dahil ito po ay nakasynchronize o isinabay doon sa planned maintenance outage ng mga planta rin na maaapektuhan. So nakasynchronize po siya at sinabay yung pagre-repair ng mga planta para matugunan yung demand natin. At kung mapapansin natin, Saturday and Sunday ito dahil sa mga panahong yan, mababa rin yung demand.
The Malampaya Natural Gas Facility contributes to the production of 2,700 megawatts of electricity, supplying more than a third of Luzon's energy requirement. Close to 300 delegates of the United Nations World Tourism Organization are in the country for their annual conference. For the Tourism Department, the hosting is a chance to allay fears of safety and security in the country after the arson attack in Resorts World and fighting in Marawi City. Claire Hiao reports.
In a display of strength and recovery, the Philippines is not only hosting the United Nations World Tourism Conference, it's also holding it at the very site of the attack that recently scared tourists away. Less than 3 weeks since a gunman stormed into Resorts World Manila, the Casino Hotel has reopened, and it's welcoming visitors from 60 different countries.
The Department of Tourism sees this forum as an opportunity not only to showcase the beauty of our country, but more importantly, to inform the global community that the Philippines remains a safe and secure destination for tourists.
It is also a signal victory for those who believe that life must go on, whatever be the challenges that lie along the way.
The casino may still be closed, and security has doubled. But Resorts World is now full of people once again. The UNWTO says this should send a strong message of support to the Philippines, especially for tourists who may be thinking of changing travel plans.
We don't want to say it's safe, because it is. We're not in the habit of repeating what is obvious. Just come and see us, meeting here in hundreds.
The UNWTO admits it's been the worst of times for tourism. Deadly attacks have hit not just the Philippines, but all across Europe and the United States. Terrorists even target areas that travelers often visit. But officials stress this shouldn't scare people into restricting their freedom of movement.
The only way to do it is to make travel easier and to resist any attempts to build walls or close borders. This is a very essential freedom that we try to protect at the United Nations World Tourism Organization.
The UNWTO estimates there were 1.2 billion travelers around the world last year. The traffic created 1 in 10 jobs and contributed 10% of the global economy. Claire Yao, CNN Philippines.
Philippine Airlines is launching its first international flight out of Tagbilaran City in Bohol tomorrow. The flag carrier will begin operating daily flights to and from Tagbilaran and Incheon, South Korea. The new route makes Bohol's capital the 5th gateway for foreign travelers. Flights will leave Tagbilaran at 5:20 in the afternoon. The return flight leaves Incheon at 2:30 in the morning and arrives in Bohol's capital at 6 a.m. PAL is also opening the Cebu-Tagbilaran route tomorrow. It's the first domestic link to Bohol outside of Manila. A Filipina levels up her Taiwan travel goals, Meteor Garden style. CNN Philippines Newsroom will be right back. Good evening once again to those of you joining us on Facebook Live. Coming up for you on the next segment of the newsroom, the final part of the segment of the newsroom, actually, we'll be giving you an update on Game 1 of the PBA Finals between the San Miguel Beermen and the Katropa TNT. We'll also ask for a few bets from our guys around here on who they think is going to win. Well, that's later on during this break. Also, entertainment news for you. Now, we want to greet those of you who have been writing to us on Facebook Live. Edna Draper is watching from Tennessee in the USA, and Annalisa Nogodula Limbu is watching from Nepal, and Romel Corpus is joining us from Riyadh. Also, Jusper Bagaforo is watching from Gusa, and Precious Flores is watching from Hong Kong. Tats Achapero is watching from Abu Dhabi. And also from Macau, Jomar Bonita joins us. And also, Rolly Concepcion says, CNN Philippines, simply the best. Well, thank you very much, Rolly. We always try to do better and better. Thank you for watching. Also, joining us from, did I say that? I may have said that already. From Qatar, Renante Escabas joins us also. And Flor Bohols is watching from New York City. A lot of people joining us from all over the world. Thank you for all of your comments and letting us know what you think of the stories. And also, even if it's just a matter of clicking on the emojis, because it helps us track, gives us a pulse of what you think of the stories. Now, at this point, let me call some of the boys. Perry, this is our handsome floor director, Perry. So the score is 75-71. Leading, halika na, si Perry. This is Perry, our floor director. Perry, sinong, ano mo?
San Miguel, ma'am.
Sinong mananalo ngayon? Si San Miguel, sure? Sinong magiging MVP?
MVP?
Sino sa tingin mo?
Hard ba? Ewan ko.
Okay, so he's shy. Shy yung mga boys namin dito. Pero ang dami namin mga... Kayo, sige, shout nyo lang ng mga votes nyo. Sino man... Okay, so a lot of San Miguel fans here tonight. Who do you think is going to win the game? Those of you who are watching. Okay, so a lot of San Miguel fans here tonight. Now, we'd like to invite you to watch Inside Marawi on June 27 at 8 p.m. That is here only on CNN Philippines. And please, for more stories, visit us at cnnphilippines.com. And do continue to let us know where you're watching from, what you think of the stories. We always love hearing from you. Stay until the end of the show.
San Miguel!
Welcome back. The PBA Commissioner's Cup Finals has begun. Game 1 of the championship series between the San Miguel Beermen and TNT Catropa is underway. Our correspondent Paolo Del Rosario has more from the Big Dome. Paolo, how's the game so far?
It's a close game right now. The fourth quarter just started. 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The TNT Catropa now lead the San Miguel Beermen by a score of 79 to 75. Big note here is that the TNT Catropa have been outperforming the San Miguel Beermen on the bench, scoring 37 bench points rather in this game so far. But an area of concern is once again the health of import Joshua Smith for the Catropa. They exited the game in the third quarter after what seems like a re-injured right foot. We'll look at more development as the game goes on, but right now the team Catropa are holding on to a slim lead.
Very exciting. Thank you very much, Paolo Del Rosario, reporting to us from the Big Dome, and surely more on that tonight on the Sports Desk with Miko Halili at 10. And before we go, do you still remember the hit TV series Meteor Garden? Well, one Filipina takes her fandom to a whole new level during a recent vacation in Taiwan. Netizen Suzanne Dolorito and her friends visited the National Chongcheng University in southern Taiwan, also known as Yingde University in the series. They check on the iconic locations where Meteor Garden was shot. That includes the facade where Dao Mingse and Hua Xilei fought over Sanshai, plus the famous locker area where some of the drama scenes were often taken. They also visited the restaurant where Dao Mingse and Sanshai once dated, as well as a cafeteria where the F4 gave away red cards. The group also passed by the roads the F4 once walked on. Meteor Garden first aired locally in 2003 and made a Philippine television comeback in 2014. It starred Taiwanese actors Vanessa Wu, Ken Chu, Vic Zhu, Jerry Yan, and Barbie Hsu. And that's a newsroom for you this evening. I'm Mitzi Borromeo. Thank you for watching. Good night.